Well, howdy doody duties. Back again with you. And I'm so happy to be here because someone told me the other day, how come you always trying to prove everybody wrong? I'm not trying to prove everybody wrong. I think whatever you believe is a good thing for you to believe. But that's just it. The word belief itself is just loaded with doubt because it says I have to believe I don't really know. And what I try to do is to help people make up their own mind about what's right and true for them, about what makes sense for them and what doesn't, they discard. That's okay with me. And I like it that you have great, strong religious beliefs because probably that helps you become a better person. And that's what it's all about. But, you know, I have a lot of things of my own. For one thing, I always said any religion says don't, or can't. That's the first sign of a false teaching, because Jesus never said that, and I do believe in his entire teaching. I believe in everything that man said. He was the greatest teacher that ever lived in my book. Oh, sure, I've studied Buddhism and I even studied Islam because, you know, I want to know what's going on. And if there's any better truth anywhere, I want to know about it. I have a prayer, and I use it all the time for me. And it simply goes like this. Lord, I do give you thanks for keeping me from a cowardice that would shrink from a new truth, and to keep me from having to believe in a half-truth or accepting a half-truth. I want to know the whole truth and nothing but the truth. And last but not least, Lord, I thank you for keeping me from the arrogance that thinks it knows all truth. And you know, I really mean those things. I don't think I have all the truth. And I'm constantly investigating truth, as I hope you are too. That's the nature of this thing. You know, Jesus came here and he said, I came with the sword, meaning sure, he was going to whack away all the old superstitions. He wanted to get things back on the path. He said, I came to fulfill it, not to knock it, and he never did knock it. And he never told anybody, don't do this, can't do that. He said, go and sin no more. But he forgave them immediately, and he said, never said that was wrong. He just go, don't do that no more if you can keep from it. That's the main idea, this whole teaching. That's what the whole thing here is about. We want you to think for yourself. We want you to investigate truth and religion and decide. You know, I read a book just recently here by an old Islam boy. He's a college professor. And he wrote a whole treatise on Jesus being a political pawn. He said Jesus' whole ministry was political. Well, that's not true. If you really think about it, you don't have to be a genius for this one at all. Jesus, it was the priests in the Hebrew religion that condemned him, but of course they were under Roman rule, so they had to get Roman permission to crucify him. And that wasn't too hard to get because, sure, he was a rabble-rouser. You bet he was. He was in there to reinstill real truth to people. And if you want to get all the truth, just read his writings. I ain't changing that, not one iota, one bit, not one jot, one tittle, as the old saying goes. No, sir. I love truth, and I love religion too, but that's a word that means tied to God. And that's what we are. I don't love religious movements because most of them have their own axe to grind and they're doing funny things and they believe they're the only ones that know God. Everybody knows God. God's within you all the time. He's everywhere equal. He's omnipotent. He's omnipresent. That's a word, that omnipresence just means everywhere equal at the same time. Think about that. No, sir. Not here trying to make you wrong. I'm here, nor am I trying to make me right. I'm here to tell you what I've accepted for truth. And what I'd like to have you accept for truth is what you discover for yourself and works. Oh boy, do we have a lot to study and a lot to go on, and we're going to. It reminds me of a boy. He thought he could do it all alone. He was laying bricks up on top of a big old building about 4 stories high, and got all through with the job, had about 600 pounds of bricks left over. Well, he didn't want to tote those bricks up and down the ladder to get back down, so he came up with a brilliant idea. The idea that it got him was to get a big old barrel, which he did, and a big long rope, which he did, and he put a pulley on a big old framework up there, and he said, this is it. He ran the rope through the pulley, put it down there, tied it up real good, and he pulled that barrel up on top, and he filled it with bricks. Then he kind of pushed it off the edge a little bit, and it hung in there real tight because it was tied at the bottom. He runs down the ladder. He says, this is going to be great. He wraps that rope a couple times around his wrist and hangs on real tight, and then he unties the rope. Ha ha! Guess what happened? Well, that old barrel come rushing down, and he went straight up. Met the barrel about halfway, I guess about the second start, smacked his head and his shoulders real good, hurt like a devil, I'll bet you. And on up he went, but that ain't a half of it. When he got up the top, his hand jammed in the pulley, broke his hand and his fingers, smashed his thumb. That hurt like the blazes. And the barrel crashes to the ground. And then when it hit the ground real hard, it broke open. What do you think happened then? You're right. He come tumbling down. The barrel comes up because it don't weigh nothing no more. They meet in the middle again, smacks his legs, breaks his ankle, and goes on up. He crashes down, and he falls on that whole pile of bricks that have been left over by the broken barrel. Lets go of the rope. The barrel comes down, smacks him again, and oh man, did he feel bad. Ask him what he learned over all that, and he said, well, I learned one thing. I ain't ever going to do nothing alone again. Well, friends, I got news for you. None of us are ever alone if you just accept the word. Just accept the fact that God is within you and start relying more on that. God will lead you into truth. Believe me. Until then, my friends, adios.